conversation has taken an unexpected turn. The astronauts doing the spacewalks will now be wearing snorkels after the last astronaut to perform the spacewalk nearly drowned when his helmet filled with water. Let's get to...
But just my gut inside me said, that's my dive buddy, and I should be with my dive buddy. That's my dive buddy, and I should be with my dive buddy.
But the last spacewalk ended with Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowning in his helmet after it started filling with water.
Water is in his eyes now, and it seems to be increasing.
Fellow astronauts quickly pulled him back into the station. When they did, water poured from the helmet.
Hold up. What's that? Oh, cool. A green screen. So much cap. So much. Was the moon landing fake? Part 2. Go check out part 1 for the full context. In part 1, I explained some reasons on why I think there's a possibility that the moon landing is fake. Such as the lunar module looking like a piece of trash. This is a real picture of the lunar module on the moon zoomed in. That thing doesn't even look rain-proof, let alone flight-proof. Straight up crumpled up poster paper, coat hangers, trash bags, and tinfoil. Oh boy. Hey, but it was on TV, so you know it's real, right? Because information is only true when it's on TV or if it comes from school. So another reason why I'm questioning the moon landing is President Richard Nixon used a landline to call the moon. A landline telephone. He used a landline telephone to call more than 200,000 miles away.
I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made from the White House. I just can't tell you how proud we all are.
Sheesh, I need me one of those.
This is Richard Nixon calling from the Earth. I can't tell you enough how proud we are of you guys made it to the moon. You guys are the best astronauts.
Buzz, you're a true American hero. Oh, by the way, Buzz, that's a nice hand gesture you're doing there. I wonder what that stands for.
Has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't.
But you know, I must be so foolish for questioning this amazing high-tech technology that they can't build anymore because, oh, they lost the technology and it's a painful process to build back. By the way, what is that little propane tank? Is that for when they have a barbecue on the moon or something? Like, if I'm a clown for questioning this,
then I guess I'm a clown. Rock me NASA on that rocket ship. Take me to the moon, take me on a trip. Technology to knock on the moon's door. Rock me NASA.
Go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you?
it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled. It's crazy how people don't question anything. The only thing most people question nowadays is what fast food they're gonna eat today. Wendy's or McDonald's. Alright guys, and we're done. Yeah, Astra Alexandra, I guess I don't understand the science. Like that tinfoil, it must be some high-tech tinfoil. And that little trash bag right here must be that, you know, super high-tech, space hefty trash bag. And that teeny-weeny little propane tank, that must be for the cookout. And that crumpled up poster paper looking tape stuff must be made from the same stuff Captain America's shield is made from. $388 million for this. Look, I know it's hard to accept that you've been bamboozled. I mean, I was there. I also believed in this until I took a closer look. And this trash bag, coat hanger, crumpled up poster paper stuff, it don't look very flight proof. Especially for traveling 200,000 miles. Or more than 200,000 miles. By the way, since space apparently has no air or water, What are rocket ships thrusting against? Submarines move by pushing against water. Planes move by pushing against air. So what are rocket ships pushing against? Your imagination? By the way, who filmed this?
Ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. X5.
Was one of the cameramen left behind on the moon? By the way, what is all that Danos gemstones coming out?
And cut. Good job, boys.
There's a reason why Armstrong, Aldrin, and Colin have their own Hollywood star. Because what they filmed was basically a movie. But I know what you're gonna tell me. Go read a science book. Did you go to school? Did you fail science? I've heard it all before. You might have something called cognitive dissonance. It's when some people hold a core belief that is very strong. When they are presented with evidence that works against that belief, the new evidence cannot be accepted. It would create a feeling that is extremely uncomfortable called cognitive dissonance. And because it's so important to protect the core belief, they will rationalize, ignore, and even deny anything that doesn't fit in with their core belief. Now, I've had this before. It is a very difficult thing to accept that you've been bamboozled and that what you grew up thinking was true is actually a lie. But nobody is really harmed by the truth. Self-deception causes harm. Lying to yourself causes harm. Hey, but no hate. I wish you well. God bless you. I hope you come to the truth, and we're out.
That you rotate.
So, I mean, like on the space station, how many of these would you have?
7, because we have 7 windows.
What happens if you get a leak on that?
Then you have a leak.
You just have a leak.
And what you would do is...
You lose air.
Yeah, you would probably seal the whole cupola off. And then there's probably a plan, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's probably a plan for replacing the mechanism. Might require a spacewalk.
So my question is, how can you operate a lid on the outside of the space station by manipulating something mechanical on the inside of the space station without losing air pressure?
It's called real good engineering.
Orbit, and what responsibilities and jobs are going to be yours when you're up there?
Well, I'm one of the science guys and I'm one of the repair guys. And fortunately, there's lots of science and lots of...
That's not, and that, yeah, no, the ground looks to us like it's standing still.
Did you notice any curvature while we were up there?
No.
No? What'd you see while we were up there?
Just the blue sky, white clouds.
Yeah, is it flat or?
Pretty flat.
Pretty flat?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I was reading a lot of stuff on the flat earth.
Okay, yeah. True.
It's true?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, cool.
Right.
God bless, brother.
Did you notice any curvature while we were up there?
Curvature? No.
No? There's no curvature?
It's just all flat.
Casey, how are you, mate? Pleased to meet you guys. There's no way this curvature. We're round on the flat, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are, aren't we? Thank you.
Most pilots know their plane is flying over a plane. A stationary plane. Always a smooth and level flight.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Now sometimes you get water in the helmet, and it's either from sweat or from the cooling garments. And in some of my spacewalks, I had like water in the helmet, not like I was going to drown in the helmet, but just little bits of water probably came from sweat. Often on the outside of the space station, you'll liberate little pieces of it's a really harsh environment out there, and the outside of the space station gets beat up pretty good. And sometimes, you'll see just little flecks of paint or something that you might have disrupted floating away from the suit. And, that's generally what that is. I've never seen any kind of air bubble anywhere.
Yeah. Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out there?
From an analytical standpoint, photographic anomalies have to be sought out with an understanding of lighting and shadows. The most straightforward is simple. When objects are lit solely by the sun, as all the scenes on the moon were said to be, after all, lighting equipment was not only impractical, it was unnecessary in bright sunlight, then all shadows, regardless of the landscape, will run parallel with one another and never intersect, as shown by this example. In these seldom seen photographs, obtained from a rarely used auxiliary NASA archival site, it is clear that these scenes were lit with artificial light. These shadows, which are cast at different angles, are evidence that a second light source is being used. In addition, the sun would not cause an isolated hotspot like this, only an artificial light would. Again, intersecting shadows and another hotspot. And again. And again. It is simply impossible for this picture to have been taken with sunlight on the moon. Here, the shadows are shown to be as black as pitch. And yet here, completely in a shadow, the astronaut is lit up like a Christmas tree. How can this be? Or this, on the shadow side of the lunar module. In this magnification of an Apollo photograph, a rock, very likely a papier-mâché prop because of the crease here, is categorized with the letter C. In later releases of the same picture, the letter is gone, probably airbrushed out.
This is from Taiwan to Los Angeles, and Hawaii's out there kind of in the middle. Right about here, there was a medical emergency. Where would you land if you were the pilot?
Hawaii.
Right, or maybe go to Los Angeles. Instead, they went all the way up to Alaska.
What?
Why did they go to Alaska? The answer is because this is the route. Taiwan,
oh shit,
emergency, Alaska. Hawaii is all the way out here. This is the actual route that they take.
never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon.
And we could not see stars.
It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
And when you're in space and you're looking into deep space and you're on the sun side of the orbit, the sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the Milky
you
Way
see
galaxy.
the Magellanic.
The sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth.
Pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Then when you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine.
Pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Everyone agrees that the sun gives off its own light, right? Great, common ground. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the moon gives off its own light as well. And this can be proven by the fact that moonlight is measurably colder than sunlight. For example, take a thermometer out on a cloudless night, and the temperature will actually be warmer in the shade than in the moonlight, which is the opposite of what we experience during the day. If the moon was reflecting the light of the sun, this would not be the case. It would be warmer in the moonlight, albeit considerably less than during the day. But if it's reflecting the same light, the properties of that light should be the same.